Big up to everybody watching. Big up Wagwan, why pre, where you deal with, where you depan. Up top, blessings. We're back again with another one. And before we get started, as you guys might have seen in the thumbnail, I do have, let me say, big guest to introduce right before we start. Give me 1 second. Now, this guest is just like majority of us, a treble winner, three-peat champion, a centurion, formidable, Super Cup winner, and this is somebody very knowledgeable on sharks as well. Don't forget that. Big Steve, what go on?
How are you doing, mate? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm great. It's really difficult to not be when we're in this type of period with the club. Like it's really a blessing, and I just can't forget that.
Fantastic.
But yeah,
Really, really good. Really good.
thanks so much for lending me your time today. By the way,
No
um,
problem.
and just before we start, forgive me, but I have to fanboy for us a little bit. Um, I remember in the early half of last season, I was watching the Big Six for the first time, and I really liked how well you defended the club. I saw your channel, and I watched pretty much all of your videos at the time, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but I think you have an elite talent for storytelling and like descriptive speaking. And just from listening to you, anyone can tell that you live and breathe the club and our crest is always on your sleeve. Maybe literally, because you do have a tattoo of the club on your sleeve, right?
Yeah, all across. Got a
Yeah.
European Cup now, new one, European Cup on my leg. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Listen, um, when this football club's that special to me, when you've been involved with this football club all your life, you can only live and breathe it. We've been in the dark times, main road, Division Two, all the way up to the good times now. It's been some journey, but it's been fantastic. And like you say, people don't understand this football club. A lot of people like to throw dirt at this football club. A lot of people
Hmm.
like to, pretend they know this football club. But nobody can talk to me about that because I've lived it, I've breathed it, along with a lot of other City fans, a lot of the old school City fans. We were there in the dark days, and we never left. It would have been very easy to give up on football, maybe walk away, maybe go and support another club. But
Right.
this football club has a special place. Once it touches your heart, it's very hard to shake it off. It's like somebody you love. Sometimes you get mad at them, but you don't stay mad at them for long. But that's what happens with Manchester City. And now we're living our good times. I'm sure in the future there will be tough times again
Yeah.
because football it goes round in circles. But as long as we all stay together, as long as we all pull together and we keep doing what we're doing, I think we'll be all right.
100%. I do agree with you. And just before we start, I do have to say, if I doubt there's anybody in my chat that's not already familiar with Steve's channel. But if you are not, then definitely do follow him on all his socials. Um, I don't think you're on Twitter, right?
Not on Twitter. No, there's somebody
Right.
on there the same name as me. I think he's pretending to be me, but it ain't me.
Well, you guys heard it here. He's not on Twitter, but definitely his YouTube channel, Instagram, and TikTok. Definitely follow him there because there's great content all around. And while you're going ahead doing that, if you're not subscribed here, definitely help me to hit our 100 subscriber mark. We're almost there, 15 subscribers away. It's very very close, but there's a lot of hard work to go in nonetheless, and we'll get there eventually. But now that we got the intro out the way, I do have to ask you, Steve, how, when, and where did this magnificent journey start for you? Where was the start of you being introduced to Manchester City Football Club?
It started in 1989. I was a young lad in school, liked to play football, but didn't really know too much about the teams. It was only maybe 5 or 6 years old. And I remember coming home from school one day and my dad saying that on Wednesday we're going to go to the football, Manchester City. And I was like, oh, brilliant. And then I sort of got a bit hyped for a few days. And then he took me to the first game at Main Road. It was against Brentford in the Rumbelows Cup, and I just remember the floodlights over the stadium, the smell of the hot dogs and the way just the way the pitch lit up, and you're a kid and you look at these things and you're like, wow. And I always remember it. My dad took me, got me a scarf, he got me a badge, and I just remember the next day I was obsessed. And I was like, when can we go again? When can we go again? And then I just became obsessed with the football club and obsessed with football. And World Cup Italia '90 was on the horizon. Perfect. Every day there was a game, World Cup game. England got to the semi-finals. And yeah, I was just hooked on football, and Manchester City was my team. And yeah, at the time, I didn't know if I made a good decision because we weren't that good. But
Yeah.
definitely paying for it now. Definitely a great decision now.
Well, some people might look at my situation being much younger as a fan, at being exposed to the club in a much better time period. But honestly, the more I think about it, I'm very envious of what I call legendary fans like you, and fans like Martin at the Mancunian Way, who has experienced the same journey as me, including a time before that.
Yeah.
That total journey, it's like I always wonder what how did it feel to go inside Main Road and be there in person, even the Etihad. Like personally, I plan to, within the next 2 years, if possible, I want to make it there. I want to make it happen. I'm about to be working really hard these next 2 years to make it happen. But yeah, we're gonna
No,
get it done.
listen, it's Main Road. Looking back now, because of where we are, a lot of people want to experience Main Road. Main Road was a unique place. It was a beautiful place. It was just dark and grimy on the night time. It was scary for visiting supporters, but it was our home. You know what I mean? It was our
Yeah,
place where everyday problems go away. You walk through the turnstile and you forget about the world for 90 minutes. Manchester City always upset you or always made you feel great, and it was good. And you know, we it's hard to describe it. It really is. It was like we were just at certain times we were so low you couldn't get any lower. So you couldn't walk away. Then you'd been through the rough time. You might as well stay. And there was a lot
yeah,
of things that happened in the history of the club in Division Two. Joe Royal, David Bernstein as chairman, Gillingham '99. All these things happened for a reason, and they shaped up the history to what it is now. And we look back at them days, and we wouldn't swap them because that's what built this
yeah.
football club today. And that's why fans like me, I don't try not to get reactionary. I try not to, get gassed about too many things. I try not to overdo things because I know very well in football that things can change quick, and I know very well
Mhm.
in football what I've been through. And I'm just grateful that I'm watching this team play now. I'm grateful that we get to watch them in a beautiful stadium. We've got the best manager in the world, best striker in the world, and we're getting all these new supporters from all over the world that want to be a part of our great club. And I think, you know, don't get me wrong, it's not easy for a lot of old City fans to take these changes and be happy with them. There's a lot of City fans I know that would rather Manchester City only have 30,000 fans in the stadium and every single fan be Mancunian. And that's
Mhm.
not because they don't like foreign fans or anything like that. It's not because of that. It's just they're in the comfort zone back at Main Road. That was their comfortable place. And now, sometimes at City, it can get a bit jarring. You get guys next to you with iPads and they're filming Haaland, and we're like, come on, man, watch the game. I don't mind anyone coming in the South Stand. If you love the team and you watch the game, you're one of us. If you want to bring your iPad, then you're not one of us. You know what I mean? You're a tourist. People. It's crazy. But the club's changed massively. Me and Martin, are two examples of fans that have lived on both
Mhm.
sides of the coin. I'd much rather be on this side of the coin, but we had the best times in Main Road. The best times.
And personally, I think it's really important because you get the younger fans now who they've only seen the success. They might be getting a bit too entitled, but at the same time, you have the older fans who some are still very pessimistic and they just always think everything is going to take a turn for the worse at any
Yeah.
moment. And having that balance within the fan base is really good to keep us grounded and all on the same level. And I know we spoke about this a bit in regards to last season when the charges came out, but we saw the entire fan base just come together as one, and it's so important to have it like that. And it still kind of feels like it's running through the culture of the club now, where everyone is just still grouping up together, and I love it.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the newer supporters that we get, a lot of them show respect to the older fans as well, and they want to learn about the culture and they want to learn about the club, and that helps a lot because then we're all together on the same page and we can all work together and we can support this great club together. But a lot of the foreign fans, they've got to learn not to be reactionary. You look at different fan
Yeah.
bases like Arsenal, Man United, and anything controversial happens in the club, that the split down the middle 50-50, and you get your own supporters arguing with your own
Mhm.
supporters, and you get rifts and things. We don't have that at Manchester City. We don't have that because we try to stay on the same page. Even though we might not agree on something, we don't make a massive mountain out of a molehill. We pull together with the charges. We stuck together. We said, right, okay, it's everybody against us. Let's decide now. We're going to go and we're going to move. We're going to prove that this is it. The next game at the Etihad Stadium was like a cauldron. The manager came out in the press conference and told everybody, we ain't going nowhere. This is it. And we all, as a unit, you guys in different countries, us guys in Manchester, we all stuck together and we got the job done. We didn't panic. And the bigger the club gets, it's going to be harder to keep that like that, I think. But
Yeah.
we've got to try and not come on these YouTube channels and be emotional and come on and say ridiculous things because they can spiral out of control. If you've got an opinion, say it, respect it, no problem. But I always try and say, look, let's not damage the team or let's not get onto individual players. It doesn't do anyone any good. If we've
Right.
got a problem, we speak about it, we debate it, and everyone's entitled to an opinion. But there's no good getting on players' backs. There's no good getting on people and that. And people, some people say, oh, Big Steve, he always positive. He never says this, he never says that. But look, we've won the treble. We've won, Premier League titles, FA Cups. We're the champions of Europe. Doesn't get any better than this. There's nothing to moan about. The people that are moaning are just moaning for moaning's sake. So at the minute, life's good. We love the football club. Everything's going great, and I'm sure that we can get you over to the Etihad in the next couple of years. I think.
Yeah, it's a period of my life right now where there's a lot about to go on. So for me, I can't lose sight of what I really want to do, which is actually joining the rest of the fan base in our home stadium. It's something I'm gonna have to keep reminding myself that I have to work hard to eventually achieve. But I'm sure if I do that, there won't be any issues at all. But Steve, can you tell us like some of the stories that you can remember from around your earliest memories of supporting Manchester City? Your
Yeah,
favorite moments?
there's so many. There's so many. I mean, in the early days, I remember the derby games. The first derby at Main Road that High Wes went to, we beat United 5-1. Um, Manchester City had just been
Hmm.
promoted. Manchester United was in the top division. We beat them 5-1. Um, there was a lot of trouble at the game. The game had to be stopped. They had to take the players off the pitch because about 300 or 400 Manchester United supporters got into the Manchester City section. Loads of trouble. They had to climb on over the fence. They took the players off. To be honest, when the players came back on, City went and hammered them. So I don't think it was a good move by them United fans to go in the City end. But we beat them 5-1. That was a good memory, and I dined out on that memory for many years because we didn't
Yeah.
beat them for a long time. Um, there was a couple of derbies at Main Road where we were winning 3-1 and we drew 3-3. There was a couple of we were winning 2-0, we got beat 3-2. We had relegations there where we needed to win last game of the season to stay up. We drew 2-2 against Liverpool. We went down. There were great games where Tottenham came to town. They had Jurgen Klinsmann and all these superstars, and we beat them 5-2. That was a game that stands out. But Main Road, it was just a different place. The Kippax, the old Kippax where you used to stand up, was massive,
I was going
giants.
to ask, did you stand in the Kipax at Main
Yes,
Road?
yeah, stood in
Amazing.
the Kippax. Used to get swayed all over. You'd start off sort of in the middle, and then by the end of the game, you'd be somewhere down the other side because the crowd moved so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, but it was just, I don't know. It was Manchester City. We were up and down very much. Late days at Main Road. Kevin Keegan played great football. We won the championship there. Joe Royal, second division.
Mm.
We got promoted, and then we went and done it again. We went to Blackburn Rovers last game of the season, 2000, I think it was, and we had to win to get promoted. And I think Manchester City took 35,000 fans to Blackburn Rovers. And at the end of the game, we invaded the pitch. They broke the gates off outside. We steamed in it. So all these people that say Manchester City got no fans, Manchester City this, they ain't got a clue. Because when this football club was at the lowest in the second division and it needed the supporters, the real supporters came.
Yeah.
30,000 fans in Division 2. Nobody's seen it like that. But we came because we knew that we needed our football club to survive. We needed to buy the shirts. We needed to buy the pies. We needed to get behind this team. And we got behind the team and we got that team out of the shit. We got that team all the way back to the Premier League. And I believe it was the fans at the time that never gave up, that kept this football club moving.
And that, what you just said, is exactly why I refer to your group as legends. That well, you mentioned the pies, you mentioned 30,000 fans in Division Two to keep the club going. Like that's legendary stuff. You mentioned that Blackburn game in 2000. I was just being born that year. I can't even imagine.
If you
Um,
go on YouTube and type it in, Blackburn Rovers hammered us that day. They hit the bar, they hit the post, hammered us. We won 4-1. Never should have won 4-1. But the City fans were on the roof. They were on the hill at the side of the ground. They was in the trees. And you've never seen an invasion like it. And at the end of the game, the whole pitch in Blackburn was full of City fans away. That's how many were there. And we were back. We were back from the brink of Division 2. We were back to the Premier League, and we just loved it. We just followed this group of players: Sean Goater, Nicky
yeah,
Weaver, Mark Kennedy, Paul Dickov, all the boys who wasn't the best technical footballers you've ever seen, but they were heroes, and they gave everything for this club, and we backed them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We go to every ground in the country, and we were the biggest team, and everybody used to play better against us and used to feel like we were never going to get out of there. Never get out of there. We got beat at York, which is a dark day for the club. We got beat off Chesterfield in the cup. We got beat off Cardiff City in the cup. There was loads of things that happened at Main Road, but
Mm.
now, from them days to now, it's just unbelievable. Like last season for Istanbul and all that,
Yeah.
I can't put it into words how it makes you feel.
And for me, when shortly after I started watching football, started supporting Manchester City, we had a lot of moments in that 2011, 2012 time. We beat United um, in the FA Cup 1-0 semi final. We had that in the same year, the title race. The next season, we had Vincent Company 1-0 at OT. Or was that at the Etihad? I think at OT, yeah, at OT was a 6-1 that same season. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had 93-20 as well. Like there was so many for me as a young fan just starting to get into the sport to just get hooked, and there's no going back now. So yeah, it's amazing that we have so many memories that we can actually recall on. But just before we continue, because I do have a bit more questions for you, I do have to remind the people, we have 5 people watching right now. Thank you so much for the support. Please continue to like the video. Help us to get out there more. Help me fight the algorithm. 15 subscribers away from the goal. This goal was for me to hit by the end of the year. Realistically, we can hit this by the end of next month. So help me out,
Let
guys.
me
Really help me
let me
out.
just do a quick story on my story now and link this in. Just bear with me.
Yep,
1 minute.
no problem. No problem. We also have a lot of comments coming in, so let me see what the people are saying.
Easy people, I am actually live now on a Manchester City channel. Click the link below, come in the chat, say hello. You haven't seen me for a while. Come on, let's chat, let's go. Click the link, come on. Watch this.
We have Martin is back. He said main road was so special. It was our home, made us. Makes me appreciate the success even more now. Appreciate the past to embrace the future. Yeah, I do want to visit Main Road when I do get the chance to come to the UK in the future as well. I do want to see the Etihad, but I don't want to leave without seeing Main Road. He also says nobody should gatekeep, which I 100% agree with. Football is for everyone, so we
Right,
don't
done. So let's go.
we don't
Hopefully
get.
more people will come now.
Yeah, this is you did mention how we used to be getting our beatings back in the day, but we don't get bullied by Bury and Oldham fans now. And
Yeah, Oldham and Bury was local teams, small
yeah,
teams, but they used to come to Main Road and beat us. So it was hard to deal with, man. Especially in a school full of Manchester United supporters, it was difficult.
and throughout my time, I've seen us going to games as favorites, obviously, and then we come out on the end of a defeat, and we're like, wow, where did that come from? And for me at that time, it was like, wow, this is not a good result for us. But I can only imagine what you guys are probably thinking back then, having experienced what you guys have. So it probably was just like a minor incident compared to that.
Yeah, we were just. Don't forget, at the time we used to be a massive club in the '60s and '70s. We was winning things, and then we had sort of a period where it didn't go to plan. So we were just we had we were always everybody's second favorite team. Everybody used to say, "Oh, Man City
Yeah,
fans are so loyal. They're always at Main Road and that, but the football's terrible and that." But we would just didn't know what to expect. One day you could go to Main Road and play. You could play Luton Town and get beat, and then you could play Liverpool the week after and win 3 or 4 nil. It was like Leeds United in 1990, 89, 91, 92. I think were champions of England. They came to Main Road and got beat 4 nil, and it was like weird. Main Road just had that place. If the fans was on it,
yeah.
the players usually got on it, and then anything could happen.
And I'm gonna need to see that own goal. If Martin's talking about it this much, then yeah, I need to get a look at that after this.
Jamie Pollock, he flicked it over somebody's head and he headed it over his own goalkeeper's head into the net and basically relegated us, I think. So,
Oh
yeah,
my
it wasn't the best well,
god.
it was the best own goal you're going to ever see, but it was sad, really, because it was
Yeah.
bad for us.
Hey, it's character building. That's how I like to look at it. But yeah, we do
Definitely.
have a couple more comments in here as well. We did the conga around Ewood Park in the home end as well.
Do you know what the conga is?
No, I actually don't know where Ewood Park is either.
Ewood Park is Blackburn Rovers, and
Okay.
the conga is like a dance where you all hold each other's sort of shoulders and you dance. And if you watch the video on YouTube, the Man City Blackburn 2001 promotion, you'll see the City fans dancing in the away in the home section.
Okay. And that's not a dance that we do anymore.
No, it was basically we're taking the piss a bit. So
Mm,
yeah, it was just too
okay.
many City fans though, so nobody could say anything.
Okay, okay. Hey, hopefully this is what we want to see happen. So hopefully. And we have Erling Haaland 0923. I don't think I've seen you around before. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show. I do have a couple more questions left to ask you as well, so we're not done. And DZH says, have to admit, at times I live vicariously through Big Steve and Martin, hearing the back in the day city stories. I love it. This definitely represents how I feel. I can 100% identify with this. And that's why, for me, I like to hear stories like this. Um, I'm sure you've told this story in at least partly before in regards to how you got introduced to the club and decided you wanted to be a Manchester City supporter. I love hearing these stories in totality because it just highlights your personal love for football. So yeah, I love
It
having these
was
conversations,
the,
man.
the, the hardest time probably supporting the team was when Stuart Pearce was manager. Um, we were really poor. I think we scored about 9 goals at home all season. But then I was in my younger days, but I used to go to the game with all the lads. You'd have a few pints of beer, and you'd drown your sorrows. But there were a
Yeah,
lot more sorrows to be drowned. So that time, you end up, every game was not. It wasn't about the football. It was about getting beat and going on the beer and spending a lot of money and getting depressed
yeah,
and then wondering was we ever going to have a good team, looking at the state of the club off the pitch as well, and thinking this is not getting any better. They were the tough times because when you're young and you're a really young kid, you love the players no matter how good the team is. You're obsessed with the players and they're your heroes, and you
yeah,
always follow them everywhere. But when you get to a young adult, other things come into your life, women, um, work. So it's easy then to switch off and think, you know what, I'm spending all this money watching this football team. They're absolutely shit. And that's when you got to respect the fans because that's when you could easily walk away and just say, "Oh, I used to follow City years ago, but I don't
mm,
anymore because it's this, that, and the other." And that was the tough times when you could have walked away and said, "Nah, I'm not watching this. 9 goals at home, shit, I'm not doing it." But we didn't, and now I don't drink any alcohol anymore. I'm about 4 years sober, only because I need to save the money to follow this football club all over the
yeah,
world. So I sacrificed that to follow this team. And last season was the best I've ever experienced. The journey from the beginning of the season all the way through Leipzig, Bayern Munich, Copenhagen, Seville, Real Madrid, Istanbul, Wembley. Um, Unbelievable. And to sit there and look at them three trophies in Pep Guardiola's cabinet was just unbelievable. And like you say, the Champions League's left a nice taste in my mouth, and it's a taste that I want to taste again.
yeah.
So I'm hoping this season we can go and do not maybe not the treble, but I want the double at least. The league and the Champions
Yo,
League, take it.
see, we're on the same wavelength because personally, that's what I was hoping for this season as well. And if 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 it's not possible for us to do the double, I would also take us getting the four-peat and maybe a Carabao Cup, so
Yeah,
Julian Alvarez can complete the full set.
any trophy is always worth it. I don't like these people that talk down on trophies like they say, oh, it's only the Carabao Cup
Yeah,
because there's over 90 odd teams in this football league in England that would love just one Carabao Cup before they die. They'd love
exactly.
one Carabao. We shouldn't take that for granted because I was in that position where I'd have just loved one FA Cup before I died. I would have just loved that. I'm very, very lucky, as you are now, that we're seeing this.
Yeah,
Don't take it for granted. Um, but looking at the football club, and I'm very lucky to be involved with the football club and seeing it from the inside, this football club is not going anywhere. It's so well run. The academy and the stadium and the new stadium increase and the way that they're working abroad and they're buying different clubs all around the world and the
mm.
scouting system. It's the best club in the world for me, and I think we're ready for a good period of success now.
And back on that trophy point that you mentioned, I did one of these videos with Daps about a month ago, right? And he made a very similar point. He said for him, growing up, he wasn't even looking at the Carabao Cup as like a realistic possibility. It was like a pipe dream in a way. Like you win a Carabao Cup, you'd be so happy because it is an achievement, it's a trophy. And I get that it's relative because for a club that's winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and then you win a Carabao Cup, there is a difference. But for me, if it's a trophy, I want us to win it. I wanted to win the Community Shield this season. Fortunately, it
Yeah,
didn't happen, but we continue to move on, and hopefully next season we can be there again and we can actually get it one. But
no, so
just to move on a little bit, and our numbers have more than doubled so far, so
good.
appreciate that shout out. And I do have to ask you next. I already have two ideas in my mind, but if you had to pick Your favorite moment as a Manchester City fan, what's that one moment that you would go for?
It's a tough question, man. Tough question. Um, I think the greatest moment where I have felt something I'd never felt before was the Aguero moment at 93-20, because it was the first time in a long time, and to snatch the league away from them the way we did it, because 60 seconds before, I'm thinking we're the biggest laughing stock in English football. We've bottled it. The United have won the league. We're going to get the piss ripped out of us, and my life's not worth living. And to go from that, and 60 seconds later, to score that goal, and to the celebration, the noise. I always remember the noise. I've never heard anything like it. It was like unbelievable. And to see people I'd sat with all my life and fans I'd known crying, hugging, falling over seats, going crazy. It's giving me goosebumps now on my arms. And
Yeah.
I've got Aguero tattooed there on my arm, there, Aguero. But so that moment will never be beat for me by anybody, because it's so iconic. But last season, Istanbul, final whistle, champions of Europe, it was a different feeling, but it was so nice, man. It was like relief. It was like I was on top of the world looking down and thinking, you know what? All them teams that had sang that song to me, champions of Europe,
My
you'll never
God.
see all that shit
Oh my
coming out of
God.
them grounds. You'll never win the Champions League. People putting Champions Leagues on the phone, waving them, all that shit.
They get
Just,
the inflatable balloons.
just a
Don
great.
Hussam used to have that small Champions League trophy he used to wave around on his stream. It got me so rattled. Can't lie.
Evaporate. And I stood there, and there's a video somebody filmed of me singing "We Are the Champions," and someone was like, "Oh, you don't seem excited," and I was like, "Excited? I was more happy than you know, but I was just enjoying the moment." I looked round, I seen all them City fans, people I'd known for 30 years, um, champions of Europe, all them City fans that had been through it, that had been to Main Road, like Martin and myself, thousands of them. That was their night. That was their
Yeah.
night when they were on top of the world, and there was not a person in the place that could have said a word, because Manchester City were champions of Europe and they were treble winners. And now in Manchester, the treble went down as a legendary thing in football that would never be repeated. And we done it. So at the end of the day, you've got two examples there. Aguero for the sheer moment, but Manchester City winning the Champions League and becoming treble winners at the same time just hits a little bit different, and it upset our neighbours a lot.
So if you had to pick one as your favorite moment, you're going with Istanbul.
No, I'm going with Aguero because I
All
went
right.
mental. But
There
I'm
you
just
go,
saying,
guys. And
it's
you also mentioned in that story you got a text from a United friend, right? Just
yeah,
before the goal went in. Man.
yeah. Well, what happened was when we were 2-1, we were 2-1 down, and my friend said to me, "Fucking hell, man, we need to do it," and that. And I sat back on my chair, and I was physically gone, because Newcastle game the week before had drained me to
Yeah.
death. I had a week to prepare for this one, and everyone should have been relaxed. Oh, it's only QPR, but the City fan inside us was saying, no, it's not going to be simple. And then I said to him, I said, I cannot give this football club any more of my life than I've given it now. If they do not win this game today to win the Premier League, we are never going to win it. We're cursed. And then Edin Dzeko scored, and I didn't really celebrate. A lot of people were just going, come on, get the
Yeah.
ball, let's go. All that. I just sort of were like, fucking, come on. And my phone, you don't get much, you do now, but back in the day, you don't get any signal.
No, yeah.
My friend was at Sunderland, United fan. Not heard from him all day, nothing. And the text came through, and I always remember it. And I looked, and it said, "We are the champions." And out of pure pride, not even believing anything, I looked at the clock. There was a minute left. I just text back, "Not yet, you're not." And as that text sent, I looked up and Nigel De Jong passed it into Balotelli, who passed it into Aguero, who scored, and then the roof came off. And yeah, he must have been feeling top of the world at Sunderland, and then the news filtered through that Man City had done it, and yeah, that was it. And like you say, the party afterwards on the pitch, going to Manchester, walking down to Manchester, everybody hugging, kissing, shaking hands, people you never met coming
Yeah.
up, giving you a hug, people on traffic lights, people in the road, people in fountains. Um, it was a night I'll always remember. I was in Manchester till maybe 6 a.m. in the morning, just enjoying life, just walking around, talking to people. There were old people there, 70, 80-year old with badges on and scarves who had just came out of the house in Manchester and just got to the bus to the city centre just to see what was happening, because the last time City won it, they were like young men, and
Yeah.
now they were old men. And then we sit talking on a bench with people who just come down to feel it, and yeah, it was brilliant. And like you say, it was no, yeah. I've never really talked. I'm getting a bit emotional, but I've never
Yeah.
really
No.
too much about it because it. You know, on podcasts you say your little thing, but honestly, it was it was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. And like you say, to be with your people, our people, all together, and to be so happy at what we'd done as a club was unbelievable. It was fantastic, honestly.
I'm honestly getting goosebumps just listening to you recall the moment. I can't lie. And I do have a bit of a confession because I'm not sure how the school system is set up in the UK, but in Jamaica, I was in about grade 6 at the time in primary school. And I couldn't watch. I knew we had a game and I could not watch it. But I had I'm not sure if it was a smartphone I had at the time, but I could access the internet and I had the live score on my phone and I was reloading it like every 5 minutes just to see the updates going on. I saw United won their game. Um, I saw us at 2-1. I saw when it went to 2-2, the game was about to be done. I had friends telling me, oh, it's over, give up. United won the league. I'm like, nope. I'm there reloading because I'm saying until I see full time, I don't even I'm not giving up. That was just me. I've always been an optimistic person, especially as a kid. I used to think going into games we were just going to beat everyone. Everyone's going to turn up and play their best. Very naive, but I'm not even mad at the fact I used to be like that. But I remember the last time I refreshed it, I saw full time and the score change at the same time, and I couldn't believe. I stood there looking at it for like 5 to 10 seconds before it actually registered in my head. We won the game. Didn't we need to win this to win the league? And I didn't even know at the time what we'd done yet until afterwards when I got to watch it back.
It was insane. The
Yeah.
feeling was insane. Sergio Aguero, man, what a man.
Well, we're getting to that. Before I ask you about players, I want to ask you, do you own any City kits currently?
Do I own any what?
City kits. Well, obviously, I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
I've got them all. I've got them all. I don't wear them as much, but I've
Mm.
got. I usually buy every kit and I put it in the wardrobe, and I've got them all hung up there. They've got tags on them. I don't know. I just buy them for the sake of buying them. But maybe when I'm older, like, the kids will take them off me and sell them or something and make some money. But I have got a lot.
All right. How did you get your first one, and when did you get that?
The first kit was the 1989 home kit. It was blue with the triangles on. It's the one I wore in the Lad Bible video when I went with against Don Robbie in the Lad Bible video. It's that one kit. Obviously not the original because I won't fit in it now, but that was the kit, and that's still my favourite kit of all time. I love that kit because it was my first one. I remember my dad buying it for my birthday. It came in a box, a little box, and it had Umbro replica on it. And then you lifted the lid off, and the kit was there, all folded
Yeah.
nice. I remember wearing that, man. It's brilliant.
Yeah. There's a lot of love coming in from the comments as well. Just to go through a bit of them. Deezer said she would take any trophy. I can definitely resonate with that. There's some love for you, Steve, from Franklin. Big up to Franklin. Thanks for
Big up.
being here. MCFR TV says, "Hi guys, nice to see you. Got Big Steve on clinical, so close to 100 now. Thank you, bro." And the journey goes on. We'll get there eventually. I do think we'll hit it within the time frame as well, and we're going on to bigger things from there. Patrick True City fan says, "I'm happy we'll win the Club World Cup soon. Every trophy matters. Right now, this is the next one on the radar, and we need to
Yeah,
get this one over the line." And also, if you guys aren't familiar with Patrick True City Fans channel, definitely show him some love as well. And occasionally, you might see me over there as well because we do a bit of videos together. So
good.
definitely show some love to Patrick as well. Um, Not sure what this is in reference to, but Martin says for him it's 99 and first league. Oh, his favorite moment.
Yeah,
It's 99 and first league title, both same for me. 99 as know what the repercussions to not winning was, and beating United the title was amazing. Yeah. But again, we'll pause on the comments for a little bit. And the next question I want to ask you, Steve. Oh, one more quick question before we move on. What's off your current kit collection? What did you say was your favorite one? That first one still?
the first one. Yeah, the first one.
Okay. The
I like that one.
89 home kit.
89 home and 89 home and 1990 away was the same kit, but one was blue and one was maroon. That is my
Oh, actually,
favorite.
yeah, I do think I remember that kit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is my favorite kit. The modern day kits, I don't know. I like the, I liked last season, obviously, with a badge in the middle. Obviously, we won the Champions League with it, so that one was good. But yeah, there's been a few over the years. There's been a few stinkers as well, proper
Yeah.
stinky kits, different colours of wild ones. But this season's third kit with a lightning on it is quite good. You know, it's like I looked at it, I thought, no way on a million years I'm wearing that, and I bought it and I took it to Greece for the Super Cup, and I wore it, and yeah, I like it, man.
So the funny thing is, I noticed a pattern with myself. I have to see the kits in person, or at
Yeah,
least see someone wearing it. I see the release or the reveal online, and it's underwhelming for me because I thought the same thing with the Lightning kit and our current away kit. I didn't
yeah.
like them. I saw the third kit, someone wearing it, and I thought it looked amazing. So I want one now, but I don't know. I still don't like the away kit that we have this year.
No, I'm not a
It's
lover of
not
that.
my taste. But regarding the players, who is your favorite Manchester City player of all time?
Um, I, see, this it's different because when you're a child, um, you're obsessed with them, like
Yeah.
obsessed, yeah. And when I was a child, my favourite player was Georgie Kinkladze, and Georgie Kinkladze came to Manchester City at a time when we didn't really have much going for us. And but this Georgian player came in and he was so skillful, so tricky. He was like, wow, we'd never seen anything like it. And he stayed with Manchester City because he fell in love with the club and he fell in love with the fans. And he had chance to move to AC Milan. He ended up going to Ajax, but he could have ended up moving to Milan and to places like this. And he stayed loyal. He should have never really stayed loyal. He should have gone, but he didn't. And then there's a few famous goals that he scored. Against Southampton, where he dribbles through the whole team and chips the goalie. If he was in this team now, he'd be worth 150 million. He was that good. But he was the one I loved, King Clancy. He's the one I used to go to school, and the United fans would beat me with different things, Cantona, gigs, and I was like, yeah, but we got King Clancy and that. And yeah, Georgie's the one that when I met him now as an adult, I got on my knees, yeah, and I bowed down to him at the bar, and I bought him a can of Red Stripe. Yeah, that's how that and he was my hero. But now growing up, the player I love is Aguero. I love Aguero.
So in my head, preparing the thumbnail, I was thinking I want to put a player here, and I thought, you know what, King Clancy. It has to be King Clancy. So I guess that was a good move for me. I'll take that small dub right there. Um, and in addition to that, who do you think is the best player in the club's history? Which is a different question.
Yeah, well, we always grew up with a lot of the older boys always telling us about Colin Bell. My dad and everyone tell us about Colin Bell. My granddad used to tell me about Bert Troutman, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew about Bert, but he was an ex German prisoner of war, and he was captured and he was based around Manchester. Manchester City got him, and the fans didn't like him at first because he was German. He used to get a lot of abuse, um, and he actually broke his neck in the FA Cup final, and he carried on playing with a broken neck. If you watch the footage, he's holding his neck while he's playing, and
Wow.
yeah, he's a big hero. A lot of Manchester City fans love Bert Troutman. There's a film, there's a movie out called The Keeper, and it's about Bert Troutman. And so if you want to watch a good film and learn about Bert, he's one. Colin Bell, obviously for the older generation, everyone loved Colin Bell. But for me, um, so hard because I love Aguero for what he did for the moment and for everything and how he came to this club just at the beginning and he stayed for 10 years and he did it. For me, I think it's Aguero, but I love David Silva behind just by a little bit. You know what I mean? But I think just me personally, Aguero. But if someone said David Silva, I wouldn't say
You
no.
wouldn't argue.
Somebody
Yo,
said now Kevin De Bruyne is up there, I wouldn't say no.
yeah.
But for me, just I think Sergio just nicks it because of that moment.
And I'm laughing because I wholeheartedly agree with you. For me, Aguero is my favorite player of all time, not just Manchester City. I absolutely love Aguero. The first City player I saw and I really liked was Carlos Tevez.
Mm,
He's a hero for young me as well. And after seeing Aguero, I don't remember when exactly, but he took the lead and it wasn't even close.
no.
I decided I wanted to continue watching football because this guy was still at our club. I prayed for him to stay until he retired. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but we still got, what was it, 10 amazing, amazing years out of him. So for me, my favorite player, I got his shirt from the last season that he was at the club, the 2021, with the like the cracks on it. The
Yeah,
people say it looks like the bottom of a pool. But
yeah.
yeah, absolutely love Aguero, man. And for me, David Silva is right below him under that list. So those are the two answers I would give in terms of who I believe is our best ever player. KDB is still here, so I want to have him finish his City career first before I actually finally place him somewhere. But obviously, I do agree he's 100% up there as well. Do you think he could play in the old era of football?
Who, De Bruyne?
Yeah, because I heard
Yeah.
people saying that he couldn't hack it.
No, he's too good, man. His brain is too sharp. He hack it. He play in any era because he was that good. You won't get near him. You know what I mean? His brain is so far ahead. One touch and move if he needs to. Keep control of the ball if he needs to. His passing ability, he can hit a pass from 20, 30, 40 yards. He can score free kicks. He can score left foot, right foot, edge of the box, inside the box, headers. So Kevin De Bruyne, I think a lot of these players don't get appreciated until they've actually retired, and that's when people realise. I was Ilkay Gundogan, another great player. I was working for Manchester City beginning of the season in the studio, and they had a reel of Ilkay's time at Manchester City, and nearly made me cry. I was watching it, it nearly made me cry because you forget about a lot of the important moments that he brought to the club, big moments. And yeah, no, Kevin De Bruyne is. I don't think he's ready to go just yet. I think he's got another couple of seasons in him, but he's one of the best I've ever seen.
And I think it's also one of those cases where, like how people always say, City's not gonna win the league next year. And then if we go on and win the league, then the next year it's, oh, City's not gonna win the league next year. Like it's what people are calling copium now. Like they make themselves feel better about themselves by pulling down Manchester City. If Kevin De Bruyne was doing what he's done for us, playing for Real Madrid, no one would be asking or wondering if he could play in the previous era, because everyone would be giving him the props and ratings that he deserves. People still are hesitant to call him the best midfielder in the world today.
It's because he
But
plays for City. It's because he
yeah,
plays for City. So there's one thing you'll learn quick with this supporters club. One thing that we learn as City fans is, as long as we know about the team, as long as we know what's going on, and as long as we care, that's all that matters. I don't care if rival fans do not like Kevin De Bruyne. I don't care if rival fans write Manchester City off, because all it is jealousy. It's
yeah,
jealousy. And at the end of the day, you know, we're living it, we're breathing it. We've got two eyes, just the same as everybody else. We're watching football. And any man on this planet with two eyes who knows football knows that Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best that's ever played the game. So anyone that says different is trolling or just basically deluded.
and we have a comment here for you, Big Steve. He says it's Chris Dryer's son, and he wants to say thank you for helping out.
What happened there, just to say this quick, Chris Dreyer is my friend for 20 years. And on Wednesday, he passed away. And the Manchester City supporters have raised about £9,000 so far for his funeral. And Harrison is his son, and a few of the players have donated some shirts. And at his funeral, we're gonna have an auction and raise some money for his family. But Chris Dreyer was one of Manchester City's best supporters, one of the old school supporters he lived and breathed Manchester City, and he was a true Manchester City supporter, and a lot of Manchester City fans are suffering right now. And I'd just like to say mental health is a big issue, and it's a big issue in England, and I'm sure around the world, but there's a lot of football fans and people that go out, enjoy a few beers and whatever, and get in a mess. And all I'm saying out there, if there's anyone watching, that you need to speak to people if you're suffering, speak to people, get help. Because if people saw how many people loved this guy and how many people adored him, then he would never have gone. And it was a sad day. It's been a sad week. It's been tough for us this week. It's been tough for me, and especially his son Harrison.
Right,
So Harrison, thank you very much, and the memory of your dad will live on throughout all the City supporters for a long time.
100%. And just like you mentioned, it's tough. I
Tough.
remember a period of my life, as young as I am, I would have had very difficult thoughts in some periods as well. And it's thanks to the people around me who were constantly showing me love and reminding me that even though everything's not going great, there is some stuff to still smile about and people who do care. So it's very important to just keep being nice to people, man, because you never know how far it could really go.
And look at you now, you're doing your YouTube. You're on a Manchester City YouTube journey. Big Steve's on your channel. Martin's on the channel. You're going to get
Yeah,
100 subscribers. Life's
life's
good, man.
good. Life's good, just like you said. Wait, Dizzy says her brother is a United supporter. I know what that feels like because my older brother, for anyone who watched my version of Where Did It Start for Me, they would know my older brother is also a Manchester United fan and he's 10 years older than me. So it's kind of hard for me to tell him why we're better than Manchester United now. He has a lot to say about that, but I'm the one winning the conversations these days. So it's life's good, man. Yeah, MCFC Connect in the building as well. Big up to him. Thanks for being here. Show some support to his channel as well. He's up and coming Manchester City content creator as well. So we're all going far, man. We need to just take over YouTube. All the city channels just rising up big, just helping each other out, building a huge web.
My only advice is to Pete. I've seen this YouTube. I've been in this YouTube game a few years, and to be honest, it's not my game. But I try to be real. Whether people like to hear it or not, I try to be real. Don't ever think if I say this, I'll get lots of views, I get lots of followers, and this, that, and the other, because then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You sold your soul. If you're a good person and a real person, the people will come. If you say something
Yeah,
controversial and start to slag other fans off, yeah, you might get a lot of views at first, but you got to keep that act going then for
yeah,
a long
right.
time. And then people see through it and think, hold on, this guy, it's not the guy. You might sit there at first, get 300 views and think nobody's watching my stuff. But they will eventually come because people will say, oh, I watch a guy and he speaks sense. Check him out. This is his channel. Check him out. This is his channel. And there's people out there got miles more followers than me. But I like to think that my followers are real City fans that actually enjoy my content because I speak the truth. So my advice is speak the truth. The followers will come because you are a good person, not because you say ridiculous stuff just to get views. So that's my advice to all the up and coming City ones. Keep going, keep enjoying it, keep saying your opinion. Nobody can take your opinion away from you. It's your opinion, you know? So just keep being you and do what you're doing.
100%. For me, I always focus on just giving my personal opinions, and I always make that very clear. I don't know about what's the truth or what's correct, but this channel is for me to give my opinions, for whoever is viewing or here on the channel to give their opinions, and we all discuss it together respectfully. We can all disagree, that is no problem, but we can disagree respectfully. And yeah, that's personally how I plan on staying for the entirety of my journey.
Good,
Um,
good. No, it's good, man. And like you say, you've got a good aura about you. It's
yeah,
calm. It's easy to deal with, and we get you going. Just you need to do what you need to do. Keep doing what you're doing. But the big mission is we need to get you over to the Etihad, man.
yeah, no, 100%. I'm going to make it happen. I'm taking my wife with me. She's not too big on football, but I'm sure when she's singing with me in the Etihad, singing Blue Moon, she's gonna get caught.
Well,
100%.
I'll do you a deal. Yeah, this is the deal. Yeah, you get your flight and your hotel and your tickets to Manchester. Yeah, and I will get you the tickets for you and the wife. And I will meet you the night before, and I will take you both for a meal in Manchester. I will pay for your tickets, and I will pay for the meal as a gift from the Manchester fans to the Jamaican fans. How's that?
I would really appreciate that, man. I want to take you up on that deal.
No problem. So whenever you're ready, let me know the game. We get it booked. I get the tickets sorted, and we book a nice restaurant. We show you some Mancunian uh, hospitality.
Yeah, that is it. I want it very authentic, and I don't think there's a better person to go to than you, Steve.
Make it authentic, mate. We'll have you eating kebabs, drinking
Yes,
beers, throwing
yes,
beers around in Mary D's before the match with all the boys. No problem at all.
perfect. That's exactly what I always imagine. Um, I think this is about his favorite moments. He says West Ham goal, Leicester goal in FA Cup, Saints goal, Southend goal, so many excellent kinky moments. Oh, this is Kinkladze.
Yeah,
That Newcastle game 3-3 ball on a string.
he's right. He's right. Yeah, every one of them West Ham goal cuts in from the wing, in off the post. Leicester goal, jink through the midfield, bottom corner. The Southampton one, right through the defence, chip the keeper. Southend, can't remember the Southend one. But the Newcastle game, 3-3, main road. King Clancy was just had the Newcastle team chasing shadows. It was an unbelievable game. Unbelievable.
And there's also this next one. He says El Mago in my time, but my dad's was Bell and Dennis Tort. I
Yeah,
don't
so
think I'm
El Mago
familiar with
is
Dennis.
David Silva,
Yeah,
Colin Bell, and Dennis Stewart scored the overhead kick in the 1976 League Cup final against Newcastle. Won us the League Cup, the Carabao Cup. He won us that Dennis Stewart overhead kick. So a lot of people like him for that.
amazing. Rosemary says, Big Steve, I could listen to you talk about City all day. I love and appreciate your support for this amazing team and club.
Rose, I talk about City all year. Don't worry about it. Anytime you want.
And he's also on Mank. Is Mank Talk tomorrow, by the way?
Bank talks now on Friday because Saeed's that depressed with Man United. He's flown out to
Yeah,
Spain on his own, and his last
yeah,
time I seen him, he was sat in a hot tub on his own. So he's suffering right now. So it's Friday. Mank talk is Friday.
yeah. I absolutely love Man Talk. Even from when it was on Saeed's channel, I
Yeah,
absolutely love that show, man. It's so funny.
crazy.
But yeah, oh, Deezish says she met Aguero when City toured the US in 2017. I don't think I've told much people this, but that Aguero jersey I told you I bought, I never wore it. I tried it on once when I bought it just to see if it fit, but I don't plan on wearing it. I plan on keeping it just like that, and hopefully I can also meet the big man one day and have him sign it, and then I want to get it framed. That's
I've
the
got one to watch.
my God.
Signed. He signed it there.
That was
Shit.
from the formidable season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. So yeah, he signed that one there. I've got a few signed Aguero bits and bobs knocking around. He gave me. I got a pair of his boots. He signed a pair of his boots. He gave me a pair. He's got his son's name on them and stuff. And yeah, so they're treasured in my man cave.
And that's the thing I was about to say. So since we're here in this apartment, my wife doesn't want me to decorate how I would prefer to, in which I would definitely have the club's crest or portraits like you have behind you all over the place if it was up to me. But as soon as I get that man cave area, which I'm getting that in the next place for sure, I'm going to go crazy on decorating, man. 100%.
Yeah, tell the missus once she's been to Manchester and she's had the Manchester hospitality, and we've told her that she's got to let you put some stuff up. Then she'll be fine. Trust me, she'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll also go ahead and do a bit of research on stuff that I know that she likes outside of in the Manchester area. We
Mm-hmm.
can go ahead and do some stuff, fully get her caught.
Get her over here,
James
man.
Bond, big up to James Bond. He says, Steve, big up General, but this season we are taking from your zine. Saeed on the beach. So I'm wondering, is this guy a United fan? Because he's saying he's taking it from us this season, or maybe an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, they're all the same. They all like to talk. Come around May time,
Let's
you
see
know.
it happen. How
Yeah,
long has it been since Arsenal's beaten us, home or away? So
a long
let's see,
time.
let's see. But yeah, I do have a couple more questions for you if you do have the time to take them.
No problem.
So, in terms of goals, what's your favorite goal that you got to see live?
Um, Obviously Sergio was mad for what it stood for. Paul Dickov, 1999, a playoff final. Um, to score that and then take it to extra time and win. Um, Rodri, Istanbul. Do you know what I mean? Fantastic goal. But do you know what my favourite goal was of all time? David Silva, Old Trafford, 5-1, the fifth
Yes.
goal, when he ran through and put it through De Gea's legs. Because when we were kids in school, we always used to live off the 5-1. So we
Mm-hmm.
were beating United 4-1, and David Silva ran through, and I'm thinking, please God, score this so I can say 5-1. And he put it in the net, and he was like 5-1. But I really enjoyed that goal. I was like, yes. So I'd say David Silva, fifth goal, Old Trafford.
James Bond also says, "Love the link up, Steve, with the yard man. Stay blessed. Big up yourself too, bro. I hope to see you back when we're talking about Arsenal as well." Martin says, "Got to go now, lads. Big up Clinical. Smash these subs for him and hopefully catch up soon, Steve. City till we die." 100% Martin. You know how it is. You know how it is. But I thought you were going to talk about a different David Silva goal, actually. For me, it was that one where he assisted Dzeko in that smashing at
Yeah,
OT in
yeah,
2011. Because for me, I literally cannot get tired of watching that goal. I can watch it back 10
Perfect.
times on repeat. And it's the execution of it was just out of this world, man. David Silva, I don't think we'll ever see another player like him for now. Hopefully, Foden hits those levels. He's definitely on that path. He's the next one I'm watching now as that guy to really hit the headlights. But David Silva was absolutely different, man. Game changer on his own.
Different planet, man. But lovely little guy. Came to Manchester raining all the time. He came from Spain. Didn't care. Just did his shit. And yeah, legend of the game. Legend.
Absolutely amazing. Even the other day, he after he retired, he did an interview and he said, "Manchester City is my club." And that's made
Yeah.
my heart feel so warm hearing him say that, man.
Makes me, yeah, same. What people need to realise is there was a time when a lot of people used to say, "Oh, Manchester City, the players are only going there for the money. They're only going there for the money. They don't want anything else. They don't care." You look at it now. How many people come to this club for money? Not many. How many people stay at this club for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? That's because this club touched them a different way. That's because this club got into their soul.
Yeah,
And when Aguero only stayed 2 years, you're going to go Real Madrid. 10 years, one of the best strikers on the planet. Real Madrid, nobody could take him away from us because he loved the club. David Silva, one of the best on the planet. Real Madrid, did he take him? No. Barcelona? No. You know, you look at him, Vincent Company, 10 years. Did anyone take him? No. Fernandinho, Yaya Toure, you know. So it's all nonsense. So Manchester City are very clever. They know that we've got something special inside this football club, and when they get them players to sign the first contract, it's very, very rare that they don't stay here for a long time because it's such a good club, a good place to work.
yeah. And I find it so funny how every time Pep's contract is coming down to the last year, rival fans get so excited and they're saying, he's about to leave, he's gonna go. Like, just relax, wait, and let's see what happens. And every time he decides, you know what? I love this club. There's no better place for me right now. I'm staying at Manchester City. Even last season, I am not leaving this seat.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Last question I have for you, Steve. What is your favorite away day? And I want to hear your thoughts for Premier League away day and European away day that you've been to.
Um, I always, I always, in obviously Old Trafford when you win's a great away day. You know what I mean? To go to Old Trafford and to win, and to take the piss and come away from there smiling and thinking, yeah, we've done them. That's always a great feeling.
Yeah.
Um, European games, obviously we've had some big games, some big wins, but I like I just like an away game where you can feel the passion in the stadium, where you can feel it in your chest. Like I went to Napoli a few years ago, and I'm a big fan of Diego Maradona. I always have been. I know I'm English and I shouldn't really be, but I have. And the fans, the passion, the way they got in the stadium hours before kickoff, the way they stuck with me a little bit. So I always had a soft spot for Naples and Napoli, and I thought, they made it very intimidating. I like them atmospheres that are intimidating. I like to come in the stadium and think, "Oof, everybody hates us in here, but we got
Yeah.
to show it on the pitch, and we got to sing our ass out for our team. There's only 3,000 of us, but we got to get behind them." Where you're the underdog and you're like really on the toes. I like them kind of atmospheres. But
Mm.
Old Trafford, the away day when you win, is great. Anfield is a bad ground for City, man. We never win there. The atmosphere is always good, but we never win there.
I thought
Um,
last season was our time. I thought that was our opportunity to break that curse.
there's just something there. That and the new Tottenham Stadium and Anfield, you might as well write them down as a loss straight away because it never
You know what?
happens.
I think this year we can beat Spurs. This year I'm really feeling it. I think we can beat them.
Well, Arsenal away last year was good because they
Yeah.
were our rivals. We went there to the Emirates. They were telling us what they were going to do, and we dealt with them. I don't know if you've seen the footage, but on the Grealish goal, you can see me celebrating on the front row. So
Yes,
that's
yes, I
always a
did see that.
watch. But yeah, nah, the games are, the away days are always better if they mean something. Like if it's a league game and you're playing, maybe, don't want to disrespect anyone, but it's a league game and you're playing Forest, then you excuse me, you're probably not as excited as you would. But if it's Man United, if it's Tottenham, if it's Liverpool, Arsenal, it's got a bit of something about it. Newcastle, then yeah, I enjoy them games where you can feel some.
All right, I fully understand that. MCFR TV says he also remembers that video where he saw you celebrating. And Rosemary says, rivals, keep wishing and hoping there will be nothing left for your club. Manchester City will be winning it all. And there's also a comment further up where they were speaking about us winning the Champions League. And you gave your thoughts on that moment when we won it. Patrick says, not only did we win the UCL, we won the treble. What a beautiful game. And Franklin followed up and said, I felt relief more than anything. When people
Yeah,
ask me, how does it feel? Because I've had that conversation amongst my friends as well. Or when you win the Champions League, you're going to understand that it's different from just winning the Premier League. But when we won the Champions League and they started asking me, well, how do you feel now? I genuinely could not answer them because it wasn't just winning a Champions League. We That win was the treble. If it was just us winning the Champions League, I'm sure I would have had a completely different feeling from us just completing the treble. And it literally felt I was watching the game, probably sitting like this, and as soon as the whistle went, I could literally feel my body just ease up, and it's like a weight just came off my shoulders, and I just felt so calm and relaxed, like we've just entered an exclusive club that I genuinely did not think was possible at the beginning of the season. So it
yeah.
was,
Well, we had these. Like I say, I've not drank alcohol for 4 years, and people were saying, "Oh, you're gonna have a drink if you win the treble." I was like, "Yeah, man, fucking dead right. I'm gonna get right on it." And when we won it, I was so happy, so relieved. I just wanted to get out of there, phone people up, talk to people I hadn't spoke to for a while. And we sat down in a restaurant, had a nice food, and then I didn't want to go and party with the City fans. I didn't want to go there yet because it was very, very late in the morning. So I went back to the hotel. I got on the bed. I watched the match again on my phone, watched all the highlights and stuff. And then the next day in Istanbul, we went into the centre and it was party time. The next day, everybody was out, everybody was partying. The relief was on everyone. We'd done it, we've done the treble. And that was a time when I didn't even have a drink. I kept saying I was going to drink. I didn't drink, but I was just so happy. Everyone was shaking my hand. Steve, we did it. You done the Premier League, the Big Shark, da, 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 all that, whatever you do. And yeah, it was just a relief that finally, after all them years, the rival fans had one stick they could beat us with: Champions League, Champions League, Champions League. The stick snapped, gone.
it
Yeah,
almost felt like they were just so prepared to throw away everything we accomplished under Pep and before just because we didn't have a Champions League. And it always felt so unfair. But for me, winning that Champions League, we got our respect for all those other achievements back as well. So I don't know, man. It was just a big bundling achievement. Like I still can't believe it. Well, I told my friends, and I am so serious about this. I am going to go back over my recollection of all of those games. I'm going to document it in story form, and my kids are going to grow up hearing how Manchester City won the treble in the 22-23 season.
definitely, mate. Definitely do it.
But Steve,
I've
that
got my,
is
I've got my on my Instagram, on my highlights on Instagram. They're in different Istanbul, Bayern Munich, Leipzig, and they're all there. So if you click on the highlight, you can watch from the minute we get in the airport, eating breakfast, to the plane, to the pubs, to the bars, to the game, to the after, on every single one. So I've got the story there in video form. shall we say. So I lived it. So I was happy, man. Happy. So happy.
I'm gonna have to do the same thing for when I get that chance to come to Manchester.
You
Yeah,
told me, I
I
told you
wanna
what I'm going
remember
to
it
do.
forever.
The tickets, I'll take you to the restaurant, and we'll take you to the proper pubs, and we meet all the guys and everything, and you'll have the best time you ever had in your life.
And can we take a trip to see Main Road as well?
No problem. No problem. There's not a lot there, but you can see it. There's a plaque on the floor that tells you where the centre circle was and stuff like this. But I'll explain it to you. I'll take you around the tour guide. I'll explain it to you.
Awesome, amazing. But that is pretty much all I had planned for today. Once
Brilliant.
again, Steve, thank you so much for lending me your time, man.
No problem at all.
I,
Thanks for having me on the show.
no, anytime. And I do have to admit, I was a bit hesitant to reach out to you because I know that you're a very busy guy and I know that you're doing a lot of work with the club as well. And
Yeah.
I mentioned it to Daps and he said, no, reach out because if it's Steve, he'll definitely do it. If he has the time, he'll definitely do it. And
Yeah,
I believe
listen.
that. And that's why, since it's international break, I thought, you know what, it might be a good time to see if we can get something sorted.
Listen, I help anyone out. I try my best. I'm in the studio now here, so I go home now. It's nearly 8 o'clock, so I've still not been home from the studio. So, but no problem for me. You know what I mean? If it helps you out, and we're all City fans, and I'll get you on my channel soon. We'll do something on my channel. We'll get you on my channel, and we'll talk about City, and we'll get you some new subscribers and um, yeah, man, keep growing and keep being you. I enjoyed it. It's very, very good chat, very knowledgeable. Um, but definitely get over, make it your priority to get over to this wonderful club, and you'll have the time of your life, mate. You'll meet so many people, meet so many new friends, and it'll take your channel and everything to the next level.
100%, man. 100%. It's it's not even like something I just thought of now. Like, and this is just before we wrap up. I just recently moved to the US a few years ago when I started coming to school, and it's just been settling down, and now it's at the time where I can actually start working full time again. And
Yeah.
that's why I said, just give me a bit of time, and trust me, I'm going to do my best to get there. Just like with the channel, I'm going to do my best, and we're gonna get there somewhere. The goal for the channel, if I can get to, I think at 1K, you get to open polls and stuff like that. That is
Mm.
all I want. Because at that point, we can start having more organized or bigger discussions. And that's really what I want. I don't want to just experience all the stuff that we're seeing alone. Share it with other City fans. Like,
I'll give
come
you a
to the
shout.
channel,
I'll do a
see
shout
all.
out for you now on the YouTube, and try and drag a few lads over to your channel.
Yeah, really appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it.
No
But
problem, mate. So thanks for having me on. I've really enjoyed it. And West Ham at weekend. Let's hope we can get the points.
yep, 100%. I hope that you can make it back on the channel sometime in the future because you're
No
always
problem.
welcome. And
No problem.
again, citizens in the chat, if you're not familiar with Big Steve, I'm a bit disappointed, but this is your chance now. The name is in the title. Just click it, show him some love. 25K subs, is that your next goal?
Yeah, I think I'm 20. I don't know if I'm at 25. I don't know. I've not checked. Don't know what I'm at yet. 20, it's over 20,000 anyway. So I'm happy with that.
So if I get you two or three, I'm happy with that.
I'm
So
going to get you some in a
guys,
minute. Don't worry, I'm
help
going
me
to get
out.
you some in a minute.
And all the other socials as well. There's Instagram, there's TikTok. Go on, follow him up. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
until next time, my people. Peace.